Week one of the NFL season has officially kicked off. We had the Chiefs and the Chargers, Eagles, Cowboys, and let's kind of talk about the things that kind of happened in those games. If you guys do enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Peace. What an interesting way to start off week one of the new NFL season. We had Cowboys, Eagles, first game on Thursday in Philadelphia. Had the Eagles raising their banner. Interesting game because the first play of the game, the first kickoff, we had a fullback, a special teams player for the Eagles, rupture his ACL or his Achilles after missing the whole last season because of the same injury. Unfortunate. So first play was an injury. Second, or before they even first snap, was Jalen Carter spitting at Dak on Dak. As you can see right here in the video, he just spits right in his chest, right in front of the referee. The referee sees that. He gets ejected. The Eagles, arguably their best defensive player, especially on the interior D-line. So they played that whole game without him. So now you have the Cowboys, no Micah Parsons. You have the Eagles, no Jalen Carter. And the Cowboys took advantage of that. But the whole main story of this game was Jalen Carter spitting on Dak. And a lot of people are pretty outraged with this, myself included, just because Dak isn't a bad dude. Is he the greatest football player ever? No. Is he a bad guy? No, he's not. I mean, if you look at Dak's story, the whole thing with his family and him persevering through so many things with this family, he's just a likable guy. He just plays on the most unlikable team. But it was a close game. The Eagles missed Jalen Carter a lot. There was a couple times where they could have sacked Dak and they didn't. But here's another angle of the video where you can see that Dak's talking shit. He spits in his direction and Jalen Carter gets in his face and just says, "You know what, bro? I'm spitting right on you." And it's so disrespectful, and one of the grimiest things you could ever do as a person is just spit at or on somebody. I mean, Dak looked at him in the eyes and then spit on the floor, and that's what caused Jalen Carter to have that reaction. So interesting first game, and then the NFL are deciding to not suspend him according to this post. Not sure how true that is. I mean, they haven't said much about it. There was no breaking news or nothing like that. And usually when something like that happens, the repercussions happen right after the game, at least 24 hours after. We didn't hear nothing, so I assume he's okay. Well, not okay, but I assume he's not suspended. And then we had the Chargers and Chiefs in Brazil. And the storyline was, is this Justin Herbert's MVP type season? And in my eyes, before the season started, I always thought that Justin Herbert was going to have a great year this year. Just because he found himself a lady. I don't know why, but every time an NFL player finds himself a lady to go out with and they're pretty serious or whatever, these guys just get into a different mode, they look at the game a lot differently. I mean, Justin Herbert's playing with a lot of confidence, and I think that's what kind of warrants my reaction as to why I think he's going to have an MVP season, because he has a girlfriend now. And it's a very public relationship. They've been spotted a couple times, and dude was playing out of his shoes yesterday. I mean, 34 attempts, 25 completions, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think he rushed for 50 or 40, something like that, and using his legs. The Chargers didn't run the ball well. The Chiefs played pretty well on defense, all things considered. The Chargers ended up winning this game. But the main story was Justin Herbert pretty much outplaying Patrick Mahomes in a home game. And one of my takeaways, and like I said, my thoughts before the season was going to start was that because they got Keenan Allen back, because they had Ladd McConkey, because they added Najee Harris and Omari and Hampton, I thought the Chargers were going to be the new Bengals. You know, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and obviously I'm not going to compare Ladd McConkey to Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the game. But, you know, they have that same type of 1-2, 1A, 1B role. Then they have a good running back now, a couple good running backs. And they looked great, and it was funny because there's so many people glazing Justin Herbert yesterday that it was insane. I've always been a fan of the kid. He has a great arm. He's a great arm talent. He fits the ball into tight windows. He can make plays happen with his legs. He's big. He's 6'6". Dude's an absolute beast. He's just had unfortunate playoff games which have made people really skeptical about him, or not believe in him, not trust in him. My argument is always Lamar Jackson hasn't won any significant playoff games. He's never been there. He's never been to anything of that magnitude of a big playoff game. So Justin Herbert has had much weaker teams. The Ravens have always had a good defense. They've always had a good running game. Lamar Jackson is obviously a part of that run game because he's so good with his legs. But, you know, as far as quarterback play goes, I do think that if you're going to call Justin Herbert overrated, you also have to call Lamar Jackson overrated. Even though Lamar Jackson has MVPs and whatnot. But like I said, Justin Herbert, after finding himself a lady, I thought it was just funny. Like, this video had me crying yesterday when I saw it. I mean, it's weird and interesting because it is very true. Like, you saw Travis Kelce when he first started dating Taylor Swift. He kind of was a different player, a little bit of had some swagger to his game. He took his game a lot more serious, and he had a good year. I mean, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl that year. And then you saw last year Josh Allen got married to his lady, and he won the MVP. So, you know, you have two examples, and then you now have a third one of Justin Herbert just, like I said, man, playing with supreme confidence. He looked good in that pocket. It was funny because a lot of people were like, oh, the Chargers run the ball really well because that's Harbaugh style, right? That's how they like to play, the Harbaugh boys, Jim and John. So everybody thought it was going to be a run-heavy game from the Chargers, and it wasn't. The first drive was a lot of passing. I think they passed like 3 times in like 4 plays or something like that. 3 times in 5 plays. And like I said, it was interesting because the Chargers had a lot of O-line injuries. They moved Joe Alt to left tackle. Joe Alt played his absolute socks off as well. He allowed no pressures on Justin Herbert, no quarterback hits, nothing. He kept Joe protected all night against Chris Jones in that defense. And like I said, it's interesting because the Chargers are a run-first team, and they didn't run the ball well. Omarion Hampton had a very quiet game. I think he had like 15 carries for like 40-something yards, 16 carries for 40-something yards. I think he had below 60 yards. And it's interesting, like I said, because they have Najee Harris, they have Omarion Hampton, and they didn't run the ball well. So that made Justin Herbert's win so much more significant to a lot of people because of that factor. But I mean, that was my takeaway for the first couple games. I'm not going to do this every single week because it's a lot to keep up with. But if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.